Welcome to this video demonstration of NGRAIN Producer Pro. In this video, I am going to demonstrate model editing mode inside Producer. In this example, we will be discussing constraints. To create constraints, you need to access model editing. In my first example, we'll be using a hinge constraint. You can create a hinge constraint that allows you to restrict the rotation of a part, such as a dial, switch, or door. This allows you to create animations that accurately depict how a part works in the real world and task steps that require learners to move a part in a constrained manner. First thing you do is you pick the constrained part. In my example, I'm going to pick the rear tailgate. Second, you're then going to select what constraint is associated with this part. In this example, I'm going to hit the hinge constraint. A menu will appear. It's going to ask a series of questions. The first one being, what is the static part? Yes, I already know that the tailgate is the constraint part. In my example, it's going to be the main body. I select the main body, hit static part. Hit the next button. Every other part is now hidden. There is a default name given. If you'd like to change it, you can. Hit next. You will see the axes, X, Y, and Z. You will see a pink line being thrown through right now, the X. If you need to change, simply select the buttons. Once you pick the correct axes, you can then fine-tune. By selecting the fine-tune positioning, I can then relocate When satisfied, you hit OK, hit next, and you're going to capture both positions. You're going to capture the minimum angle, which is closed, hit capture, maximum, grab the tailgate, open, capture, and finish, and now we have a constrained part. The tailgate opens. In my next example, I will be just demonstrating how to create a bolt constraint. First, under the Edit menu, go to Model Editing. Second, you select the part that the constraint will be placed on. Third, select the bolt constraint. At this point, the constraint menu pulls up. It asks you what the static part is. We'll be using the valve. Select static part and hit next. Happy with the name? Or you can change it. Hit next. You need to select your axis. Right now it's on the X. If I flip it to Y, I can fine tune if desired. In this case I won't need to. I hit next. I'm going to capture the second boundary. The first boundary is already assumed to be attached. Before selecting this button, I am then going to remove this to the distance that's required and hit my capture second boundary. You'll see a little yellow line. You have an option here to cannot move or move freely. Cannot move means it can go up and down the constraint line only. The move freely option means after the constraint's been completed, I can then take the model part and move it anywhere on the workspace. As an example, I'll hit cannot move. I'll hit next. Number of rotations, right hand or left hand, and hit finish. So now you will see there is a bolt constraint that brings realism into the model. In this next example, I will be showing you how to create a linear movement constraint. You can create a linear movement constraint that allows you to restrict the movement of a part, such as a push button. In this example, I'll be creating the linear constraint on the safety button. First, select the safety button. Then I'm going to select the linear movement constraint. The menu panel will appear. The static part is the trigger plate. Hit static part. hit next. Remember, every other part is hidden. Hit next, and now you're going to select what axes. I'm going to select the Z. You can fine tune if desired. Once satisfied, hit next, and you're going to capture your boundaries. Your first boundary, I'm going to take the safety, I'm going to pull it out, sliding across that Z axis. Once I'm happy with the distance, I'm going to hit capture the first boundary. Cannot move means you can slide up and down the Z axis only. Move freely. Once the constraint has been completed, you can then take this and put it anywhere on the workspace. Hit next, asking you to capture the second boundary. Grab the safety button, push back in, capture second boundary, and of course I'm going to hit cannot move and hit finish. Now you have your safety button constraint on this shotgun.